palco, tenho o gosto de apresentar Roberta Romano, diretora de sustentabilidade do Instituto Europeu de Patentes. Junte-se a mim em palco. Um piacere, benvenuta. E peço um forte aplauso para a nossa Roberta Romano, que veio de propósito de Roma para nos falar um bocadinho das patentes.
Buenos dias, good morning everyone, and thank you for letting me in, and sorry for messing up the program. Exactly what we heard today is really very inspiring. We heard about great inventors. We have seen great inventors. Earlier today from Joanna, we heard Jane Cochrane, who invented the washing machine back in 1800, and it's today Whirlpool, just to give an idea. But we also want to remember Margaret Hamilton, who, with only 24 years, prepared the software, who helped the Apollo program for NASA. 24 years, and that was back in 1960. So many women. And the very first one who really inspires me is Theano, Pythagoras' wife, the first known scientist and mathematician known in history. So women have these oral testimonials of what women can do with just a pen and a piece of paper, being inventive. Now, in 2022, we have published a study looking at another angle of women activity, the contribution of women to inventive activity through their patenting activity. And actually, we came across, of course, to the issue of the glass ceiling. What have we seen in the first place? What is the evolution of the women activity in patenting? So how many women are nominated as inventors on patents? And the very first interesting findings, we've been looking in this activity for 20 years, actually longer, from the end of the 70s to 2019, so a little longer. And we started with 2% in the late 70s. Can anyone imagine where we ended up in 2019? Just a rough guess? 15%, 50%, 30%? Any idea over here? 13, very close, 13% across Europe. I mean, it's like from 2 to 13, you would say, wow, but 100% or 50%, how far is that? So there's a lot of work to do. And definitely what was clear from our study is that there is an issue that was mentioned before also from other researchers, but is evident for us too, is the problem of the leaking the pipeline, where we see that women starting, young girls, young ladies, starting their studies. We have a high rate of students in STEM, but then PhDs start to be a little less, and then they move into professional life, and that is like really the leaking down to very low level. And in fact, we see that from students to researchers, to the private business, to R&D, to entrepreneurs, and then to inventors, is a desperation, really. So there is really and clearly something to do there. What else did we learn? If we look at the areas where that are most nurtured by women inventors, we see that actually chemistry is one of the fields that have the highest rate of women inventors, with 22%, where, no surprise, and I talked to several of you, only 5.2% are in the area of mechanics and mechanical engineering. That's the lowest rate. This is where we need to do something. And we heard a lot of initiatives from Microsoft, Google, Ricoh. So it's really encouraging. Something is really moving there. But this is something we need to address also from the point of view of inventors and patenting activity. No surprise also that when we look at the within the chemistry sector, which are the area that are most palatable or where inventors are more active, women inventors, we talk about biotechnology and pharmaceuticals. And I mean, here we have her. I don't know if you know her, Katalin Karikó. She's the mother of mRNA research. With her colleague, she developed so many new technology linked to mRNA. We know her for the COVID vaccines, but there is more to that because there is a lot of promising technology in mRNA against cancer. So her research is definitely a milestone. She was awarded the European Inventor Award Prize in 2023, and she got the Nobel Prize as well, just to tell you the importance of her invention. And she's not the only one. I mean, Marie Curie, we all know her for having 2 Nobel Prizes, the only human being having had 2 Nobel Prizes in 2 different disciplines. So, chapeau. But again, confirms that life science are the area where women inventors are more active. Great news, but something to do there, because perhaps, and we saw it, and I think you saw it from other perspective, maybe there's something to do in school in the way we teach data science and mechanical engineering to make it more understandable. And believe me, when I mean understandable, but just to say the concrete effects of data science on how they can help the human world and not too abstract. So a lot of activity that I saw from companies is really amazing and going in that direction. Not a surprise, the most productive environment for women inventors are universities and public research organizations. So you see that from 10% in business and in companies, women inventors are around in a rate of 19.4% when it comes to universities and research organizations. And this is confirmed also by a study showing that women are particularly active in universities when it comes to life science. Now, this is an interesting fact that we found through our study. While women often work within inventor teams, and that's actually their favorite environment, very few of them lead these teams. So the leading role is not very rarely or quite rarely for women. So that's another thing that we need to look into. Every year we publish the patent index that tells us the trends of patents, the fields of development of patents. And this year, for the first time, we've looked also at women inventor. So these are data of 2023. And what they tell us is that the rate of women inventors is growing. It's a promising trend, certainly. It's moving in the right direction. It confirms that that chemistry is the field with most women inventors. Electrical engineering and mechanical engineering and other fields have a lower field. That's exactly what the study found, but we're moving slightly in the right direction. You see also that for EPO states filing more than 2,000 applications in 2023. Unfortunately, Portugal has some like 500, so does not enter into this. But Spain is leading the way, and that's a good news for Barcelona in a couple of weeks. With France, Belgium, and Netherlands also all going until Finland, going around 30%. That's a good news, and it's moving in the right direction. Now, we, as Patent Office, have the privilege to see inventions coming up as first thing. It's amazing. I'm a chemist. I saw aspirin for the first time, and I thought, oh my God, this will change the world, which it did. So that's the privilege we have. But the good things of patents is that you have to publish. And by publishing, you make the information, the technical information, available to all, especially to innovators. So we're trying to use the power of the information contained in patents to help innovators develop further. One of the things we do is studies, but also platforms, for example, on COVID vaccines or on cancer, where in a few pre-prepared search statements, you can directly arrive to the relevant information, relevant patents. But another thing we do that we think could be useful to women, especially because we hear many women entrepreneurs, is the Deep Tech Finder. So how does this connect to patents? Well, the Deep Tech Finder is a platform where you can, through geography, choose your geography, choose the technology. You can identify startups, spin-offs, and now universities since 2 days ago as well, who owns a European patent, and you can have several information. So spin-offs, small, medium enterprises having at least one European patent, you can see, you can have business information about it, the funds, how is the evolution of the spin-off to small, medium enterprise, and it's a platform that is meant to facilitate investors or venture capital companies with entrepreneurs and with startups and help funding and develop small, medium enterprises. And we hear many women are in the steps. They start really well, but then when it comes to commercialization and funding, they get stuck somehow. So this is where we think it's a good thing to bring in this Congress. Of course, when we speak about patents, it sounds like very dry, but this is really the passion behind and the curiosity and the brilliant minds behind every invention, and not the patent per se. This is what we celebrate, really. We started with Katalin Karikó, but believe me, when you start to see how technology is a force for good. It is amazing to see those inventors who had patents, but they actually came up with Nobel Prizes and changed the world. So Katalin Karikó, we just spoke about her, but let me take Akira Yoshino, the lithium-ion batteries and its evolution, another real milestone. And how about Shuji Nakamura, who had invented the lead? Which buildings do not have lead today? How much more sustainable that is? Just a good example of how these researchers who changed the world also were able to commercialize the invention, or the invention was commercialized by their company, allowing funds, allowing innovation and economic growth. I brought a few examples here because these are really inventors that are breakthrough, especially for women. So let me introduce you Laura van Veer from Holland. She has invented the Mama test. The Mama test is a gene-based breast cancer test diagnosis with low risk of tumor recurrence. Basically, it's a non-invasive early detection of breast cancer. Why is she so amazing? First of all, is because we all say, if women don't help women, who would then? But also because we know that by 2040, if nothing is done, breast cancer will be the cause #1 for women death. So it's an incredible diagnostic test that she's putting there, that she's inventing there. Another great example is the vaccine against human papillomavirus, which is already declared by the World Economic Forum one of the center inventions helping women's and improving women's health. Of course, good health, UN SDG 3. We heard already, and I could not resist but showing in a couple of slides and making a note to the inventors from Portugal. So Elvira Fortunato, indeed, she was one of our European Inventor Award finalists in 2016 for her paper-based microchips. So we heard that before, and indeed, they made something that was unthinkable. Paper microchips, who would have thought? Well, they did. And she was awarded the European Inventor Award Prize. But also, Carla Gomez, together with Nuno Correa, you may have seen it in the video, they have invented a platform which is displayed here, where you can put solar panels on it, and that adjusts on water and capture the suns in a much more efficient way. And with this floating platform, not only you capture much more sun, but also you avoid evaporation of the lakes. And the formation of algae. Amazing invention. Bravo, Carla. And another example here, Helena Pereira, with Antonio Velez Marquez. They were actually expanding cork with microwaves, a really interesting invention, because they were producing then a totally biodegradable system. And again, they were awarded the European Inventor Award back in 2013. So these are three testimonials of what amazing power is in the Portuguese society and what women can really do to change the world. Filipa, we saw her in the video. Filipa is our young inventor, and also she's very present for us because she's also part of our European Inventor Network. With only 24 years, she won the European Inventor Prize. The European Inventor Prize is not linked to having a patent. So if you're aware of a young inventor below the age of 30 who made something really incredibly valuable in your view, tell them to apply to this prize. She has, using the Legos, she has prepared an accessible program for visually impaired children, and she is really showed how this works. It is really amazing. So again, an example of great talents from Portugal. I think in the end, my testimonial is just one more from what we heard up to now. I mean, we need to close the gap together. The contribution of women is absolutely necessary if we want to really win the challenges that we have, the humanity greatest challenges, because we bring an aspect to creativity and to ingenuity and to the way we solve problems, which is different from a purely male environment. So closing the gap will not be solved by patience, but will be solved by action. So I trust that with the power of you all together and the power of all women together in the world, supported by great partners and great men, we will make a more safer and more sustainable world. Thank you very much.